When does better actually end? You don't ask this question at first. At first, you believe in better. Better grades. Better job. Better body. Better life. Better feels reasonable. Better feels responsible. Better feels like progress. So you chase it. You wake up telling yourself not today, but soon. Soon things will be easier. Soon you'll feel calmer. Soon you'll finally arrive somewhere stable. Better becomes a destination that keeps moving. You start small. You improve one thing. And for a moment, it works. You feel lighter, more in control. But the relief doesn't last. Because once something becomes better, it becomes normal. What once felt like growth quickly becomes expectation. And expectations don't feel like achievements. They feel like pressure. So you raise the bar? Again. You don't call it greed. You call it growth. You don't call it fear. You call it ambition. You tell yourself stopping would be lazy. Settling would be failure. Resting would be falling behind. Better starts to sound less like hope, and more like a warning. You notice it in how people speak. I'm doing better now. But they don't look peaceful. They look alert. Like someone afraid to drop something fragile. Because better can be lost. And once you've tasted improvement, going back feels humiliating. You begin to understand something quietly. Better doesn't erase fear. It upgrades it. When you have nothing, you fear survival. When you have something, you fear loss. And loss hurts more than never having. So you protect what you gained, your position, your progress, your image. You start measuring yourself constantly. Am I still improving? Am I still ahead? Am I still relevant? Better turns into a comparison game. Not because you enjoy comparing, but because comparison tells you where you stand. Someone else is earning more. Someone else is calmer. Someone else seems fulfilled. And suddenly your better feels insufficient. So you adjust again, work harder, sleep less, push longer. You tell yourself this is temporary. Just one more level. One more improvement. One more sacrifice. But no one tells you where better is supposed to end. There is no finish line. No announcement. No moment where the world says, you're allowed to stop now. Because better is not a goal. It's a system. And systems don't end. They expand. You see it in workplaces. Targets increase. Deadlines tighten. What impressed people last year barely gets noticed now. You see it in relationships. More effort becomes expected. More availability becomes normal. Boundaries start to feel selfish. You see it in yourself. What once felt like success now feels like maintenance. You're no longer chasing happiness. You're chasing stability. And stability requires constant motion. That's when exhaustion enters quietly. Not dramatic exhaustion. Functional exhaustion. You still show up. You still perform. You still smile when needed. But something inside you is tired. Tired of always becoming something else. You notice how hard it is to enjoy progress? The moment you improve, your mind jumps ahead. What's next? What's missing? What could be better? You are rarely here. You are always preparing. Preparing for a future that never arrives. Because the future keeps updating its requirements. Better begins to shape your identity. You are no longer who you are. You are who you are becoming. And becoming never stops. So you feel strangely incomplete. Even while doing well. You don't allow yourself to feel proud. Pride feels dangerous. It sounds like complacency. And complacency feels like the beginning of decline. You begin to fear plateaus? A steady life sounds suspicious. A calm routine feels risky. Contentment starts to look like stagnation. So when things feel okay, you disturb them. You search for improvement. Even when nothing is broken. Because deep down, you've learned something important. Better is not about happiness. It's about control. Control over uncertainty. Control over judgment. Control over being left behind. As long as you are improving, you are safe. Safe from criticism. Safe from being ignored. Safe from feeling disposable. So you keep moving? But the cost is subtle. You postpone joy. You delay rest. You tell yourself later. Later, when things are better. Later, when you deserve it. Later becomes a habit. You look around and notice something unsettling. People who have reached better are still running. They have more, but they are more careful, more alert, more afraid of slipping. Better didn't free them. It tied them tighter. And slowly, a question begins to form. Not loudly. Not all at once. Just a quiet discomfort. If better keeps moving. If improvement never finishes. When does better actually end? You start noticing how better changes people. Not suddenly. Gradually. At first, improvement feels empowering. You feel capable. Respected. seen. But slowly, better starts asking for something in return. Consistency, performance, proof. You are no longer allowed to fluctuate. Bad days become suspicious. Doubt becomes weakness. Rest looks like regression. So you manage yourself carefully. You don't show confusion. You don't show fear. You don't show fatigue. Because better has rules, unspoken ones. Once you level up, you are expected to stay there. Falling back is not treated as human. It's treated as failure. So you hold on tighter? You double-check your actions. You measure your words. You monitor your pace. You don't move freely anymore. You move strategically. Because slipping feels dangerous. And this is where fear quietly changes shape. At first, fear pushes you forward. Now, fear keeps you in place. You are no longer chasing growth. You are protecting position. And protection requires vigilance. You notice how people who are doing better rarely look relaxed. They look alert. Like they are guarding something fragile. Because once you improve, you gain something to lose. Status, reputation, expectation. And expectations are heavy. They don't motivate you. They trap you. You feel it when people stop asking how you are and start assuming you're fine. You feel it when struggling feels inappropriate. Like it doesn't match the version of you they know. So you stay quiet. You carry pressure privately. Because admitting difficulty now feels like damaging your image. Better slowly turns into silence. You also notice how better creates distance. Distance from people who haven't improved yet. Distance from who you used to be. Your old fears look small now. Your old hopes look naive. And you're encouraged to leave them behind. You're told this is growth. But growth begins to feel lonely. Because the higher you climb, the fewer people you can be honest with. Everyone expects you to have answers, confidence, direction. No one asks if you're tired. So you don't say it. You internalize it. You tell yourself this pressure is normal. That everyone successful feels this way. And maybe that's true. But something feels wrong. You notice how often better is used to control behavior. Work harder. Be faster. Be available. Because there's always someone ready to replace someone who slows down. And you know it. You've seen it happen. People disappear quietly. Not fired loudly. Just forgotten. Their relevance expires. Their usefulness fades. And no one makes a scene about it. Life moves on. That awareness changes how you behave. You tolerate things you wouldn't have before. Disrespect. Overwork. Imbalance. Because losing stability feels worse than losing peace. You don't call it fear. You call it responsibility. But responsibility slowly becomes obedience. You stop questioning timelines. You stop questioning demands. You stop questioning whether this pace makes sense. Because questioning sounds like weakness. And weakness doesn't survive in systems that reward constant improvement. So better becomes a leash. A polished one. An invisible one. You are free. As long as you keep moving. As long as you keep improving. As long as you don't stop to ask why improvement never feels enough. You begin to notice how deeply this affects identity. You don't describe yourself by who you are, but by what you do, what you produce, what you achieve, what you contribute. Productivity becomes self-worth. Busyness becomes proof of value. When someone asks how you are, you answer with what you're working on, as if stillness needs justification, as if rest is suspicious, as if being without output means being without worth. And slowly, quietly, better starts hollowing you out. You're doing more, but feeling less. You're improving, but enjoying nothing. You're winning, but always tense. Because the moment you stop upgrading yourself, you risk becoming outdated. And outdated people are treated carefully, politely, and then ignored. So you stay relevant. You stay busy. You stay improving. Not because it excites you, but because stopping feels dangerous. And that's when a disturbing thought begins to surface. If better always demands more, if improvement never stabilizes, then maybe better isn't about making life better. Maybe it's about keeping you running, keeping you distracted, keeping you compliant. Because someone who is always upgrading doesn't stop to question the system. They don't ask who benefits from endless self-improvement. They don't ask why enough never feels like enough. They don't ask when better was supposed to feel complete. And that question lingers, quietly, uncomfortably. If better never settles, if improvement never rests, is better actually progress? Or just a more acceptable form of pressure? Perhaps better actually ends the moment you finally stop. Not because you've given up, but because you've arrived. Arrived at the realization that more is a shadow, and enough is the light. You begin to understand That progress isn't always a staircase moving up. Sometimes, progress is a chair. Sitting down. Breathing. Existing without an agenda. Better ends when it stops being a condition for your self-worth. When you stop treating yourself like a project to be fixed, and start treating yourself like a person to be known. Maybe the ultimate better isn't becoming something else. It's finally being okay with exactly who you are. Because the finish line isn't a destination. It's the peace you find when you stop running.